Okay, for today's vocabulary, uh, today's article is about the soy sauce bottle designed to bring happiness. And if you go to page 2, number 1, a must. So, number 1 is listed as a noun, must, but to be honest, the way it's being used in this article and the way we say it as an expression, it should be an expression. It should be this is a must or something is a must, which is basically you absolutely have to do this, right? We often give some advice if you travel somewhere, if you go to, gosh, I haven't traveled anywhere in a long time. if you go to New York City, people say, oh, you got to see the Statue of Liberty, that's a must, or you got to see Manhattan, that's a must, or something like that. So this is when you, especially if you're telling somebody that they have to do something that to get the full experience. Now, if you're talking about in the workplace, you might be training somebody or giving somebody some advice about how to do something or a process. If it's a process that's very important to them or your company, then you would use it that way too. You have to do this. This is a must. Number 2, reminiscent. Reminiscent. When something is reminiscent of something else, it kind of symbolizes or is familiar to something or is similar to something, especially from the past. So, for example, if people compare some people, not everyone agrees with this, but some people compare Donald Trump's speaking style and his policy style to the style of Ronald Reagan. And so they might say that his approach is reminiscent of Ronald Reagan's because of the way he speaks out so kind of confidently and tries to push policies. When something is reminiscent, you can say that maybe there's a TV show. Have you guys ever seen the TV show Stranger Things? Stranger Things is popular because it's reminiscent of the 1980s. So people like that kind of atmosphere from the show. Number 3, spout. The spout of something is basically whenever you turn on the sink and the water comes out, the opening where the water comes out is a spout. If you have a water hose, the water comes out of the spout. If you have a teapot, the tea comes out of the spout. Number 4, go back to. This is used as a kind of a phrase to say that something dates back to some earlier time in history. So sometimes, if you are talking about maybe a culture, maybe some kind of tradition in Korean culture, and you're talking about the origin of that tradition, you might say this goes back to, and then you just say the kind of time period. And last, number 5, aftermath. The aftermath is usually kind of the result or consequences of some kind of like disaster or terrible event or situation. The aftermath is sometimes long. It's not immediate. So you can have the aftermath of a war, but sometimes there are, consequences and damage that will last for a long, long, long time. That's a part of the aftermath. Aftermath for, let's say if there was some kind of financial crisis or if there was a bank that was in distress, what happens with that, the aftermath from that is, people lose their jobs. Other people will lose the ability to take any kind of like loans or anything like that, or maybe their loans will default, and that leads to an aftermath that could be huge on the economy. So that could have like a lot of long-standing effects. So the aftermath of something is not necessarily like a quick consequence or result of something. It can be usually long-lasting and kind of devastating in a way. And that's our vocabulary today.